still a journey.
It's still, it never ends.
Well, then you'll like what I'm going to say to Aiden.
But it's joyful, you know, it's just like, because we have a whole folder in our book of who is a Jew. It was a whole thing about 20 years, some years ago. It was a whole controversy.
Well, particularly in relation to Israel and Robert,
Yes,
and that's where the controversy
yeah, so we have a whole big
exists.
thing, but you know what? Jew is a Jew.
Well, you know, at my show, my tagline is, we want somebody who's somewhere on a Jewish journey, and those who support those who are somewhere on a Jewish journey.
Look, I work for Delta City, and they have a whole different mindset.
Yes, they do.
And some of it, I'm not going to say I respect it. I love it, but I have my own thoughts and my own mindset.
Me too.
I'm very open to things, there's just things that I can't accept, and I'm not accepting that. I'm going to been doing it for 7 years. But there's certain things that I just can't.
Well, I mean, for example, you daven every morning. They probably don't particularly care whether you daven.
Well, no, they're very happy with that.
Are they?
No, they're very happy with that.
You daven
you
yeah, you daven with them?
No,
I mean, not with them, but I mean,
when I get up in the
yeah,
morning.
okay.
Not before I get up.
Yeah, I started doing a Zoom shachari,
And I
actually
love
right
it.
at the pandemic started. I started, because I wasn't going to get my folks to show up in the same place
I'm gonna say
physically.
something. I love it. It gives me that strength. And when I walk out of the house, I take a breath.
Kind of centers you for the
The
day.
lowest, yeah, and you know when I don't, and if I'm late, and I do it in work or something, my whole
You
day's
kinda
late.
jittery,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, go shoot things.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't.
anybody, but it's fun. It's fun up front. So. Good morning. Shabbat Shalom. How is everyone today? I hope you feel well. I hope you enjoy this beautiful day that we have. We have the front doors open. Isn't that amazing? So cold earlier in the week. We're so glad to welcome you here to Temple Beth El. We simply want to offer some guidelines before we begin. First of all, welcome. This is a beautiful day as we worship, and we welcome Aiden Yampolsky as a bar mitzvah into our adult worship community. Just a few things before we continue. Masks here are encouraged; they're not required. Vaccines and boosters are encouraged, not required. So don't worry about that. It's wonderful that you have. I know that there is a poster outside with the QR code for today's program. And if you would like to do that, certainly download that and have it on your phone. But we do want to ask you to be sure that your phones are silenced. Of course, they can remain on, but we also want to make sure that they are silenced to keep all of the noises and the notifications outside in the world. We also ask that you not take photographs this morning. There is a photographer who was with us this morning, and she's going to handle everything, I think, for us. So you all can sit back and just relax and enjoy this experience here as we worship and as we enjoy this beautiful day. This day, I think it's going to get up to about 72, 73 degrees. It's really an amazing day. And it's sort of representative of the hopes that we have, even though we here in the upper Midwest know that winter is coming, that we are thankful for these last days of recreation and football, I guess, and leaf raking and all those good things that people do in the fall. We're glad that we have this opportunity before the hard weather begins to set in. But we also are here understanding that we are allowed to be here because of the grace of God. God allows us to wake up in the morning. God allows us to make this day special for us. There's a lot that we have to be thankful for in our families, in our communities, in our towns, wherever we live, wherever we help raise our families and create friendship circles. So we are indeed thankful to God. Worship begins this morning with a prayer of thanks, a prayer that we normally say every morning when we get up and worship, and we thank God for opening our eyes and getting out of bed and helping to try to make the world better. Page 186 in the prayer book, we begin our service with Modeh Ani on page 186.
Modeh Ani lefanecha melech ha'ilei kayam shehechezarta bi nishmati b'chemla rabba emunatecha rabba emunatecha Modeh Ani lefanecha melech ha'ilei kayam
Aiden, Shabbat Shalom. I'm going to ask you to join us here at the Amud, at our lectern here. How are you feeling? Great, great, excellent. It is the custom where we have B'nai Mitzvah for many of our students, for most of our students, that the family makes a presentation at this time. The presentation is of a talit. This is this garment that we're wearing when we worship, when we read from Torah, when we participate in the adult community and adult worship community. And I want to invite your father, Aiden Yampolsky, to come to the bima and to make a presentation today to you of your talit.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef b'tzitzit.
Amen.
I invite you to turn to page 185, and Roni Eben will read at the bottom of the page.
May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of the synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May the synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
Please turn to page 192 for Ma Tovu.
Adov, oh halecha Yisrael. Va'ani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon Elohim berov chasdecha Aneni be'emet ish echad Adovu ohalecha Yaakov ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael Adovu ohalecha Yaakov ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael.
Please turn to page 194 and read with me. Praise to you,
Adonai
our God, sovereign of the universe, who formed the human body with skill, creating the body's many pathways and openings. It is well known before your throne of glory that if one of them be wrongly opened or closed, it would be impossible to endure and stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals all flesh, working wondrously. Baruch atah Adonai, rofei chol basar umavli la'asot. I invite you to turn to page 196. My God, the soul you have given me is pure. You created it, you shaped it, you breathed it into me, and you protect it within me. For as long as my soul is within me, I offer thanks to you, Adonai, my God, and God of my ancestors, source of all creation, sovereign of all souls. Praised are you, Adonai, in whose hand is every living soul and the breath of humankind. Baruch atah Adonai, asher beyado nefesh kol chai v'ruach kol basar ish.
Amen.
We now continue on page 198 with prayers thanking God for the miracles of everyday life. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who opens the eyes of the blind.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who frees the captive.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who lifts up the fallen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who stretches the earth over the waters.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who strengthens our steps.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who clothes the naked.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who gives strength to the weary.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me in the image of God.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me free.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me a Jew.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who girds Israel with strength.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who crowns Israel with splendor.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kichanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen.
from the cowardice that shrinks from new truth, from the laziness that is content with half-truth, from the arrogance that thinks it knows all truth. O God of truth, deliver us. Blessed is Adonai, teacher of Torah to your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, hamlamed Torah le'amo Yisrael.
Amen.
Please turn to page 206 and read with me. These are things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study, morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all. We continue on page 224 for the Reader's Kaddish. I invite you to rise. Yitkada v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divera chirute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon uvyomechon uchaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imiru. Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam Ul'almei Almaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yit'aleh V'yithalal Shemei Dikudisha Brichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbichata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imiru. Amen. Please turn to page 226.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Please turn to page 229. In the beginning, even then, a new light was sown for the righteous, a promise that your light would become the catalyst, first for order and then for hope. Author of language and light, help us to use words as you have, to cast light into dark waters and draw out justice and truth. Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer Hamorot.
Amen.
I invite you to turn to page 231. Once or twice in a lifetime, a man or woman may choose a radical leaving, having heard Lech Lecha, go forth. God disturbs us toward our destiny by hard events and by freedom's now urgent voice, which explode and confirm who we are. We don't like leaving, but God loves becoming. Baruch atah Adonai habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava.
Amen.
Please turn to page 232.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. We continue on page 234. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'chol nafshecha u'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'vetecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. Please read with me on the top of page 237. If people fall, can they not also rise? If they break away, can they not return? The stork in the sky knows when to migrate. The dove and swallow know the season of return. What human instinct knows the time to turn back? What cue sparks the conscience of the soul? We pray to sense this day anew, attuned to the call of sacred living. Lema'an tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Please turn to page 238. For us, this eternal teaching is true and enduring, beloved and precious, awesome, good, and beautiful. The God of the universe is truly our sovereign, the rock of Jacob, our protecting shield. God endures through all generations. God's name persists. God's throne is firm. God's sovereignty and faithfulness last forever. God's words live and endure, faithful and precious for eternity. Please join me. From Egypt you redeemed us, freeing us from bondage. For that, your beloved sang, praise, exalting you. Your dear ones offered hymns, psalms, praise, blessing, and thanksgiving to you as sovereign, the living and enduring God, high and exalted, great and awesome. God ever humbles the proud, raises the lowly, frees the imprisoned, redeems the afflicted, helps the oppressed, answering our people when we cry out. Praise to God Most High. Blessed is God and deserving of blessing. In great joy, Moses, Miriam, and Israel responded with song to you, all of them proclaiming. We continue on page 240.
Kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, נורא תהילות אוספת נורא תהילות אוספת שירה חדשה שיבחו גאולים לשמך על שפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד יאי לי 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 לה 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 יאי לי לי לה לי לה 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 יאי לי 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 לה 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 יאי לי 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 לה 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 צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל ופתח חינומך יהודה וישראל גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We continue on page 242 as we begin Tefillah. I invite you to rise.
Adonai sifatai titach ufiyah tehillatech. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
We continue on page 244. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Velohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Velohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanorah El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'nechem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah.
I invite you to turn to page 246. Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol ata rav le'oshia. Mashiv haruach umorid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofe klolim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Milchamocha ba'al gevurot, Umidom elach, Melech memidit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ata l'hachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye hakol.
Amen.
We continue on page 248.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאיך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, ולא כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני במקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ורחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
To all generations we will declare your greatness, and for all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Amen.
Please be seated. We continue on page 250.
ישמחו למלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקטורי עונג שבת. ישמחו למלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקטורי עונג שבת. מקדשי שבי שבת, כולם יספעו ויתאמו בדברך שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקטורי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקטורי עונג שבת. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשנו שבת. חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקטורי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקטורי עונג שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקטורי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקטורי עונג שבת.
continue on page 252. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness, and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai, our God, grant us your holy Shabbat as a heritage. May Israel, who sanctifies us, your name, rest on Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Please turn to page 256.
Modim anachnu lach, sha'atahu Adonai Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avoteinu, ve'imotenu le'olam va'ed. Zur chayenu magen ish'enu, atahu ledor vador. Zur chayenu magen ish'enu, atahu ledor vador. Modim anachnu lach, sha'atahu Adonai Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avoteinu, ve'imotenu le'olam va'ed. Zur chayenu magen ish'enu, atahu ledor vador. Zur chayenu magen ish'enu, atahu ledor vador. Atahu ledor vador.
We continue on page 258.
My pages will turn. Shalom, u'bracha, mein v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, archeinu yotzreinu kulanu ke'echad, ve'or panecha, ki ve'or panecha natata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu. Sim shalom u'bracha, mein v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, torat chaim ve'ahavat chesed, ve'ahavat chesed, וצדקה וברכה ורחמים וחיים ושלום. שים שלום, תורה וברכה, אין וחסד ורחמים עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל ישראל עמך, וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. וברכה, ובנבר חסד ורחמים עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל ישראל, עמך.
Grant peace, goodness, and blessing, grace, kindness, and mercy to us and to all your people, Israel. Bless us, our Creator, all of us together, through the light of your presence. Truly, through the light of your presence, Adonai, our God, you gave us our Torah of life, the love of kindness, justice, and blessing, mercy, life, and peace. May you see fit to bless your people, Israel, at all times, at every hour, with your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people, Israel, with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
Amen.
We now pause for a few moments of silent prayer.
I'd like to invite the community to continue worshiping if that's what you'd like to do, or to turn to page 261. So many of the prayers that we offer here are spoken on behalf of the community. And the Hebrew as well as the English just reflects that we are community-oriented, except for here in this service and maybe one or two other discrete places where we offer prayers for ourselves as individuals. Because as much as we support the community, we also are here to make sure that we act in such a way that we support that community in whatever that we support ourselves, in making ourselves the right kind of people that have strength to make the world better. So I invite us to look at the middle of page 261. And please read, if you'd like, along with me, this meditation. I need strength, humility, courage, patience. Strength to control my passions, humility to assess my own worth, courage to rise above defeats, patience to cleanse myself of imperfections, and wisdom to learn and live by our sacred teachings. Let me not be discouraged by my failings. Let me take heart from all that is good and noble in my character. Keep me from falling victim to cynicism. Teach me sincerity and enthusiasm. Endow me with perception and courage that I may serve others with compassion and love. Back on page 260, Oseh Shalom at the bottom.
Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Shalom Imromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Imromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Imromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Yaseh Shalom v'romav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu.
Aiden, thank you very much for leading us in worship this morning. Now, I should say the service is not over yet, but Aiden had played a major role, has played and is continuing to play a major role in leading us through the prayers. So thank you very much. We really appreciate that. And the Hebrew you have is really great, so thank you. Just to make sure that people are aware, you all have a prayer book like this one that has transliterations in it. If you've noticed, it's the English characters that approximate the Hebrew, just to make sure it's clear. Aiden doesn't have that in his prayer book. So we have two different kinds of prayer books. You can see the different color, right? So just to understand that at this accomplishment that Aiden has made up until this day is by virtue of his history and connections with congregations and this one and rabbis in the past and cantors in the past. And so we are so glad, Aiden. Thank you very much. We'd like to invite the community to turn to page 362 in the prayer book. Page 362. This is for the beginning of the service for the reading of Torah, because Aiden will not only offer prayers this morning, but will also share with us some Torah reading and some of his thoughts about the Torah portion this week. Just a few notes before we begin our Torah service. Before COVID, BC, I guess, we had the custom of bringing the Sefer Torah down to the congregation, and people would walk over with their talit or their hands or their prayer books, and they would kiss it, and we would make it really an important presence. Torah became an important presence for us in the congregation. That still will happen. So the Torah will certainly come down to us during the Hakafah, which is the procession through our community. But we're still in a place where some people may be concerned about masks or COVID or something, and we also want to be sure that one of the guidelines that we have in our community is that we want to respect people's choices when it comes to being masked or to even the physical distance that they have with one another. So rather than moving to the aisle and touching the Sefer Torah, we're going to ask that you not, but rather if you just practice with me for a moment, take your dominant hand and raise it in the air a little bit, and take your dominant pinky finger from that dominant hand, and when the Torah passes your row, sort of intend it toward the Torah scroll. That's our way of noticing it, remarking that it's here with us, and offering it your assent, offering it your love, if you will. And then you don't have to get in the way of the person next to you who may secretly say, I'm good with my physical space as it is. So again, we just want to make sure that everyone is respectful of everyone else's personal space. And so we begin our Torah service this morning. I want to invite Seth Yampolsky and Harris Yampolsky to come to the bima. They'll help open the ark in just a few moments. And to help undress the Sefer Torah, Seth will also do that along with Harris as well. So we don't have to invite anybody up here, but I also now would like to invite down to the floor right in front of our bima the following folks who will be involved in taking the Sefer Torah and passing it from one generation. Barry Yampolsky and Lois Yampolsky, Harris Yampolsky, Austin Roney, and Justin Yampolsky. Please join us here. We good? Oh, all right. So now we'd like to invite the congregation to refer to page 363 in the prayer book, and we as a congregation inaugurate this Torah service. We offer at the bottom of page 363 this passage from the book of Proverbs. Please join me. Happy is the one who finds wisdom, the one who gains understanding, for its value is greater than silver, its yield than fine gold. It is more precious than rubies, no treasure can match it. We invite the community to rise.
Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai ve'ein kemasecha Malchutcha malchut kol olamim Umemshaltecha bechol dor vador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai imloch leolam va'en Adonai oz ne'amo yitain Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom.
Aiden, again, Shabbat Shalom to you. In a few moments, thank you. In a few moments, your family will transmit the Torah to you. Now, this is a symbolic service, but it really is a symbol of something that our people has been doing for hundreds of years. It is thousands, but it's better, I think it's better to say hundreds. In that we have taken Torah since its formation, and we have had people teach it to future generations. Rabbis taught their disciples, teachers taught their students, parents taught their children, on, and really an endless chain of tradition that now comes to you on this day. When you receive Torah into your arms, we ask you to cherish it. We ask you to treasure it. We ask you to make it part of your life from this day forward, just as it has been part of your life in preparing for this day. Our tradition says that everything can be found in the Torah. And it is true that if you turn the Torah one way or another, say our rabbis, if you look for certain clues, if you look for certain words, and then you look to humanity's characteristics today, that you would be able to find things in the book that was written 2,500 years ago that indeed remind us that humanity needs constant monitoring and constant improvement and constant correcting sometimes. And the problems here are similar to the problems we encounter. So in a way, the solutions that are offered here and the solutions that the rabbis offered after they read Torah and after they amplified it, those solutions can indeed help us today. All it takes is study, and all it takes is a good heart. I think you have skills for both, obviously. So we all wish you Mazel Tov on this very happy day when you receive this tradition from your family.
Dor vador, nagid godlecha. The dor vador, we protect this chain from generation to generation. The dor vador, these lips will praise your name.
We want to invite the community to turn to page 366 in the prayer book.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadlul Adonai tiyu neromema shemo yachtav. Lecha Adonai hagedula ve'hagevura ve'hatiferet ve'hanetzach ve'hahod. Tichol v'shamayim u'va'aretz, Tichol v'shamayim u'va'aretz. har kodsho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'hishachavu har kodsho Adonai Eloheinu romemu Adonai Eloheinu.
As the Torah rests, the congregation may be seated. Shabbat Shalom again. In our calendar, we have an honor and privilege today, and that is of beginning again the cycle of the reading of Torah. We begin at the beginning with Genesis 1:1. Last weekend, we celebrated Simchat Torah, where we ended one cycle, 1 year's worth of reading, and this weekend, this Shabbat, we start again with the reading of Torah. Sorry, my mic may not have been on there, but we're all right. I'm reflecting upon two things. First of all, I want to reflect upon the fact that if you would like to follow along with the Torah reading this morning, on the book cart, there are large plout Torah commentaries, and you can follow along with Aiden in his Torah reading. If you'd like to take a book, you're more than welcome to. Bottom shelf on either side of the book cart. There's a slightly larger blue books. And if you're watching with us online, there's a link in the video description of today's worship service that takes you to a website called sefaria.org. And we have, if you click on that link, you will find the Torah reading for today. And today's Torah reading is indeed going to be Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 through 13, I think, in their entirety. I'm reflecting on something else today. Yesterday afternoon, I had arranged to speak to a student. This happens every year around this time. There's a Bible college, I think it's a Baptist Bible college, that's located in a little town called Watertown. It's probably about 35 or 40 miles east of here. And every year, one of the professors there says, call the rabbis in Madison. They're very nice, they're very friendly. And here's a set of questions that you should ask because they're not from your faith tradition, and you should ask them these questions. So they said, and they always call me, and I usually have one discussion. I ask all the students to do one, but this year there was only one student who called. And she asked me what my impression was, what my belief was about the creation of the world. How did the world come to be? And, you know, as a person who is a liberal Jew, I said, I believe in the Big Bang Theory. I believe in that the creation of the universe happened 13.4, is it, billion years ago, and the Earth is 4.7 billion years old. Despite the stories that we read in Torah, or I should say this way, that despite what science, I think, demonstrates to me, that the stories in Torah, the stories in the Hebrew scripture, where we read about the first six, or in some rabbis' opinions, 7 days of creation, these are just as important stories as the Big Bang of the universe. I think that the Big Bang, the creation of the world, one could argue the truth of either one, if one wants to. But I think that this is something that I always tell people, is that those may be truths to some and not to others, but the truth that we have in Torah, the truth that the Hebrew Bible provides us in our tradition, are the truths that are contained in the principles and values that we read about here. Having great discussions about, you know, the days of creation, or the splitting of the Red Sea, and the miracles of the plagues, or the miracles of all the things that we read about in Torah, those are exciting tales of our people's history, or maybe they're of his people's faith tradition, perhaps. And again, it's not so much, and we can have great arguments as to what's true historically and what is not, but what's really important is what's contained here. Let me offer one example, one illustration. At the beginning of chapter 2 in Genesis, God is said to do 4 things. God is said to complete creation. God then sort of sits down and rests. God blesses creation. And God makes what God created sanctified. Everything here now is holy. So those are 4 separate actions. And we believe that we are beings made in the divine image. And so if we take those 4 actions, we have to think to ourselves, what do we need to do? How can we perhaps imitate that? We are involved in a lot of things. We're students, or we're working, or we are out in the world performing our tasks. And when we get something done, we're pretty happy about it. And so we complete our task. And in fact, the Hebrew word here for completing the creation of the world, that word can have many meanings to it. It means like enveloping everything. It means concluding. And it sort of has a sense of now everything is done. And when we finish everything, we have a chance to maybe sit back a little bit and say, wow, that felt good. But then it's our job to bless it. We just can't let it be. We have to be involved with it. We have to make it continually good. So we have to bless it. And then the challenge is coming to the last action that God offers, and that is sanctifying it. Can we indeed make something that we have done sacred? Think about the things that you do in the world. Let us each think about the things that we do in the world. Think about blessing them. Think about sanctifying them. Think about moving on from simply checking it off your checklist and really making it special. That last action is the challenge. It's the challenge for each of us. So I leave you with that thought and that challenge as we are privileged to begin the reading again of the Sefer Torah, Mi Breshit in Hebrew, or in English, from the beginning. Aiden, I want to ask you now to come over to the Torah, and I want to invite you to get ready to read Torah this morning. Your yad, sir. We are honoring various people as they visit us today and come to the Torah. And so for the first aliyah to the Torah, we are privileged to invite your grandparents, two of your grandparents and an uncle. We invite to the Torah Lois Yampolsky, Barry Yampolsky, and Harris Yampolsky.
Na אקרא לעמוד לאה עדה בת מוישה ורחל ואהרון ברוך ואלי בנימין בן אהרון ברוך ולאה עתה לעלייה לתורה.
Baruch, 1, 2, 3. Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bacharanu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai. Amen. We're page 18 in the Plaut commentary in the first section online.
Amen. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Ve'haaretz hayta tohu vavohu ve'choshech al penei tehom ve'ruach Elohim merachefet al penei hamayim Vayomer Elohim Yihi Or Vayhi Or Vayar Elohim Et HaOr Ki Tov Vayavdel Elohim Ben HaOr בין האור ובין החושך. ויקרא אלוהים לאור יום, ולחושך קרא לילה. ויהי ערב, ויהי בוקר, יום אחד.
ברוך אתה
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher
נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה. Amen. Mazel tov. You all can be seated. Mazel tov. For the second aliyah to the Torah this morning, we call Justin Yampolsky and Austin Roney.
אקרא לעמוד יעקב צבי בן אהרון ברוך ולאה עתה, ועשירה יפית בת אברהם ושרה לעלייה לתורה. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אתה אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
אמן. ויאמר אלוהים יהי רקיע בתוך המים, ויהי מבדיל בין מים למים. ויעש אלוהים את הרקיע ויבדל בין המים אשר מתחת לרקיע ובין המים אשר מעל לרקיע. ויהי כן. ויקרא אלוהים לרקיע שמיים, ויהי ערב, ויהי בוקר, יום שני.
אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Mazel tov. Show them a little love. Mazel tov. And for the third aliyah to the Torah, Aiden, we call you to the Torah as someone who now enters to the adult worship community here at Temple Beth El. We are so proud for you to be with us. We call to the Torah, Aiden Yampolsky.
נא לעמוד, נא לעמוד, נא לעמוד, משה יהושע מבית יעקב צבי ואשירה יפית, כבר מצווה לעלייה לתורה.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
ויאמר אלוהים יקבעו המים מתחת השמיים אל מקום אחד, ותראה היבשה, ויהי כן. ויקרא אלוהים ליבשה ארץ, ומקווה המים קרא ימים. וירא אלוהים כי טוב, ויאמר אלוהים תדשא הארץ דשא, עשב מזריע זרע, עץ פרי עושה פרי למינו, אשר זרעו בו על הארץ. Vaiki chen. Vatotze haaretz deshe. Esev mazrias zera leminehu. Ve'etz oseh. Ve'etz oseh pri. Asher zar ovo leminehu. Vayar Elohim ki tov. Vayhi erev. Vayhi voker. Yom Shlishi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Lovely job. In the presence of the Sefer Torah and in the presence of this sacred community, now we offer prayers and well wishes for concerning many things in our community. But first, we would like to invite you to turn to page 376, and I'd like to invite Roni Ippen to come to the bima and offer this prayer for our country on page 376.
Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry, and take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing, and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. And on page 377 is a prayer on behalf of the state of Israel. I invite you to join me, if you would like, in these words at the bottom of the page. O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. And finally, we are concerned about the health and welfare of individual members of our community. So on page 371 is Misha Beirach. It's a prayer for healing and wholeness. Again, we don't know, understand, or may have many clues about the way that God is involved in the healing of the human body. But we do know that when someone knows that a community such as this is praying on their behalf, that lightens their hearts and that allows them to put to use their own healing powers they have within. So we have around 80 people on our Temple Bethel healing list now. I won't read all of those names, but I do want to offer this community here this morning the opportunity, if you would like, to share a name of someone in your family circle who needs healing at this time. And you can let them know that this community indeed offered prayers on their behalf, that they continue to struggle through and to succeed over their illness. So if you have a name, I'm just going to sort of point around the congregation, and if you would like to offer a name to our healing list, please do so. Miriam Beich, and Ruth Greenbaum. Dear God, aloud and in our hearts, we name those facing illness and pain. We join our prayers to the prayers of all who love them. On page 371 at the middle paragraph.
Mi sheberach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We now continue with the dressing of the Sefer Torah. Helping myself and Nicole Jar, our Director of Lifelong Learning, we would like to invite to the bima, please, Matthew Epen and Valsama Epen. Please join us to help us dress the Sefer Torah, and we invite the community to rise. I got it.
HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai v'yad Moshe. Lai 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 lai.
As I mentioned earlier, we have a joyous opportunity of listening to our young people when they take a look at the Torah portion and they themselves get to offer their own study, their own interpretation, their own understanding of this Torah portion, and certainly maybe some more finer points within. So Aiden, we invite you to come to our Amud, the lectern, and to offer your Devar Torah this morning.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Today marks the first Shabbat of the first Torah portion of the entire year. Every year we read the Torah from beginning to end, with the expectation that we gain new understanding every time we read each portion. The Torah portion for this week, the one I read in service today, tells the story of our beginning, creation. This week's Torah portion details God's work over 6 days where he creates the heavens and the earth. Water, land, time, plants, animals, and us, humans. He then ends his active work through the creation of Shabbat, rest. The first day God declares holy is Shabbat. This is God's first commandment to all of us, to cease work and keep the Sabbath holy. This portion then speaks more to the story of Adam and Eve and their downfall after being deceived by the snake to eat from the tree of good and evil. By listening to the snake, giving in to their temptations, and eating from the tree of good and evil, they disobeyed God and are then expelled from the Garden of Eden. What the snake says to get Adam and Eve to eat from the tree of good and evil, you are not going to die. But as divine beings, this now means nothing will be... As divine beings, this now means nothing will be handed to us, and we must... What? As divine beings, this now means nothing will be handed to us, and we must create. And we have the choice to create for good or for evil. While God does not have a physical presence to perform miracles, he has tasked each and every one of us to help be his miracle workers. In the beginning, there was darkness. God created light and saw that it was good. Are we all not called to do the same? To bring a ray of light when we see darkness around us? I can relate to this portion in my personal life and through recent current events. For my Mitzvah project, I purchased and prepared dinner for families at the Ronald McDonald House. As the Ronald McDonald House families are going through some of their darkest days, I hope by preparing a dinner, I was able to bring a small sliver of light that helped them feel a moment of peace while they help their children heal. I have witnessed the pouring of love and support to Ukraine from millions around the earth during their darkest moments, which continues to this very minute. As divine beings, we know good and evil and are constantly being called to resist temptation and bring light to the darkness whenever possible. This portion tells us that as humans, we will be faced with temptations. We will see darkness and be asked to pour our light. To bring goodness to the earth, the way to resist temptation and be filled with light, in order to give more light to the earth, is to keep God's first commandment. Turn to God by turning to Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah, you don't get to go. But we want to invite your parents up now to offer their response to you, and not to you, but to your words and to your accomplishments today.
Oh, thank you for coming to celebrate Aiden's bar mitzvah. It means so much to me as Aiden's mother that so many of you chose to spend your day celebrating our son. Aiden, I am so proud for how well you did today. You have done an amazing job leading the congregation in prayer this morning and completing the requirements to become a bar mitzvah. It has been a joy watching you completing the hours of study and volunteering to get to this moment. I saw how the process changed and matured you, and I could not be any prouder of the wonderful young man you become. From the moment you were born, I intuitively knew that you were especially blessed by God. I mean, after all, you did arrive at the end of Yom Kippur in 2009. You were born on a high holiday. It doesn't get any special than that, buddy. But since that day, you have captivated my heart completely. First with your adorable face, then with your kindness, tenacity, sensitivity, generosity, humor, polite manner, and thoughtfulness, traits that are obvious to anybody who meets you. I hope you recognize, celebrate, and cherish these qualities as blessings, gifts from God to be used wisely and responsibly. These qualities have served you well as we move from Kansas City to Fort Collins, then to DeForest. In fact, every teacher, scout leader, coach, and parent that has ever crossed paths with you have said the same thing. You are smart, kind, and show wisdom beyond your years. It were these gifts that helped you skip kindergarten and get into first grade, helped you make friends quickly when we relocated to different states, and helped you place second in the school spelling bee. Throughout the years, I have looked at you with such amazement as you continue to live out these characters, even when faced with challenges beyond your control. No words can truly express how happy and proud I am to be your mom. While you have always shown maturity, today is the day we celebrate your spiritual maturity as you start your spiritual journey as a Jewish man. All this preparation for the ceremony is to rejoice in the fact that you are on the threshold of understanding life's depths and complexities. The voice of your inner spirit is beginning to speak, and you will be responsible for listening to it and make the choices that will guide the rest of your life. When you're confronted with choices, you may rely on the strength of your character as you make decisions, but you can always confirm and discern which choice is the best choice to make by consulting with God in prayer and by asking Him to guide you to a place in the Torah for added wisdom. Remember, the Torah not only contains our commandments and virtues, but also contains a great degree of wealth in the stories of our people, as you provided in your Devar Torah today. As you continue to grow and discover your path to the life you want to live, know that me, your stepdad, your brother, your sister, give her a couple of years though, and your father will be there to support and provide wisdom wherever you may need it. Aiden, it is clear to me that you have wisdom beyond your years. I pray that God bless you with abundant wisdom so that you may live an extraordinary life of abundant faith, joy, love, prosperity. You're a wonderful son and brother, and you will be a great man, a great husband, father, and friend. I am so happy to have you have a front row seat, and I am so grateful to be your mom. Continue to put your trust in God, and don't be afraid to make decisions. Choose with wisdom, choose faith, choose God, and Mazel Tov, Aiden. Shabbat Shalom.
It's going to be tough to top that. First off, I'd like to thank everyone for being here on this joyous occasion. This is a moment that I've been looking forward to. I can't even read. Since September 28th, 2009. You don't immediately think about this day 13 years from then, but it was in the very back of my mind that day. When I held this tiny person in my arms. Thank you for your patience. Aiden, I'm so proud of you. You've come a long way from where you were to where you are presently, but your journey is ongoing. As we are lifelong learners, so continue to embrace as much as you can continue to learn as much as you can, and continue continue to be the sweet, handsome, kind, and caring human being that you are. I'll always love you, no matter what we go through. That was rough.
Aiden, thank you for sharing your gifts with us. We have some gifts that we'd like to give you. And I want to thank you for this wonderful congregation. You can tell the type of person you are by the people who are around you. And there's a lot of compassion and love for you in this space, as I think in all your spaces that you have. I invite Michelle Gustafson up here to provide you some gifts. But I have a special gift. I don't know if you remember choosing this gift. Your cohort decided to come all together and pull their money together to buy each other gifts. And you were able to choose one of those gifts. They know, maybe you know what this is. I don't know at the time, but it's just such a pleasure to see a group of seventh graders who not only buy gifts for each other, but the extra money that's left over, they're choosing a charity of their charity to give the rest of the money to. So it's just another example of the great people that are around you. So Michelle has some things to share with you as well.
Hi, Aiden.
Hi.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I am Michelle Gustafson. Hi, everyone. I am a member of the Board of Trustees, and I am so glad to be here today to see you become a bar mitzvah and meet your family. And it, as Mrs. Jar said, so clear that this is a family of love and commitment to God, and it's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience being here today. And I want to thank your family for inviting me to be here on this important day. It's important that the board not only acknowledge your accomplishment here, but the commitment that your family has made by bringing you here to this day. And we want to thank not only your family for doing that, but for continuing to do that. And we hope that you follow in their great footsteps. In addition to that, I have presents, and this is the best job, I have to say, because I get to give presents. So the first thing that we have for you is a water bottle from our Temple Youth Group, which is called Maddie, from Madison Area Temple Youth. It's got great stuff in it, and more importantly, the Maddie Youth Group here at Temple Bethel is a really great place for you to continue your social and educational experience here at Temple Bethel. Now, it's for high schoolers, and you're not quite there yet. You will be very soon. And in the meantime, we also have Muddy, which is our junior youth program, which I hear is absolutely fabulous. So get your foot in there. You'll meet new people, and you'll have a really great time with that. As a member of the board, I have more great stuff. I have here a mezuzah for the doorpost of your choice. I have this really cool book called On the Doorposts of Your House. Lots of good information. I also have a $250 gift certificate to a high school trip to Israel, funded by the National Federation of Temple Youth Summer Programs. And most importantly, we have your certificate. And on it, it says, in becoming a bar mitzvah, Aiden has accepted the privileges and responsibilities of being a Jew. They are lifelong Torah study and the keeping of mitzvot, Shabbat, holy day, and life cycle observances, participation in the life of the synagogue, the Jewish community, and Israel, and dedication to Tikkun Olam, which I know is very important to you, which is making the world a better place. We hope these gifts will be part of your Jewish life today and going forward, and we want to wish you all the best of luck in the future. Mazel tov. I'll put these back for you and put them right in here. You did great today. Have fun. Good.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Hello again.
Hi.
You know, you've heard it referred to today the many teachers you've had in the past and all the people who might have brought you to this moment. And all of those people are vessels of sanctity. In Hebrew, we might call them clay kodesh. And it is a privilege to welcome a clergy colleague to our bima today, whom you knew from Kansas City. And I'd like to invite Rabbi Doug Alpert now to, first of all, acknowledge his presence. Thank you very much, Rabbi, for being with us today and being with Aiden's family. But also, he has some words for you as you take this next step in your life. Rabbi?
Had a lot of words thrown at you this morning, haven't you? I don't know if I'm bringing up the proverbial rear or not. I do have words for you, but I need to show some gratitude and say some thank yous and some mazel tov. Mazel tov, first to you and foremost, a mazel tov and kol hakavod. All honor to you as you bring honor to everybody here this morning. A mazel tov to family, to Justin, to Austin, to Roni, to everybody. My congregation, Kol Ami, depending on a single Hebrew letter, can be translated as either voice of my people or all my people. When I got the congregation, it was voice. I've changed it to all. I like the inclusion, and I like the idea as part of all my people that we define family in as broad a way as possible. So it lifts my heart to see a broad representation of family here this morning. I have to say as an aside before I go on, because I've been sitting over there, I've been staring at your Philadelphia Phillies kippah all morning. Any San Diego people in here? Good, I'm rooting for the Phillies. And I can say as a dogged Kansas City Royals fan, one thing you can be assured is I don't like the Yankees and I don't much care for the Astros either. There you go. Modim Anachnu Lach, I am grateful. So grateful to be here this morning. I'm grateful to your Rabbi Beich, not only for welcoming me with such open arms as a colleague here this morning, but for what I know is your work in the Jewish world, your work representing Jewish values in the broader community, your work for justice. And I'm appreciative to the Temple Bethel community for allowing me to celebrate Shabbos, to make Shabbos with you all this morning. We work for justice during the week. We work for a better world. And on Shabbat, we get to kind of get a taste of what that better world might look like. So it's an important time. And I'm also grateful that we're able to live stream this back to Congregation Kol Ami back in Kansas City. So not only do you lift up this community here in Madison, but you lift us up back in Kansas City. You give us a hizuk, a sense of strength. And I think there are some things about the virtual world that are actually pretty good, and that kind of connection is something that would not happen otherwise. So with that for you, I know what the Bar Mitzvah playbook looks like. I'm supposed to, having known you since you were 3, I'm supposed to say, how you have grown. I've seen you growing over the years, so on and so forth, and this is only the beginning of your Jewish experience. I actually believe it is only the beginning of Aiden's Jewish experience, but me saying in this moment, it ain't going to make it so. That said, I do think you'd make a great rabbi, not only for all you've done here today, but for your work with Ronald McDonald House. You have a keen understanding of Jewish values. Just had to throw it out there. But instead of the playbook, having had the discussion with you earlier in the week and getting kind of a sneak preview that you were going to talk about miracles and the role human beings play in bringing about miracles, it has taken me in a different direction. So for me, the sacred and the holy doesn't come so much in reaching some ultimate destination. It comes really in the journey itself. And it's in your journey, and in some ways in my improbable journey, where I think this idea of miracle and how people make miracles comes into play. So you began the Torah anew this morning, reading from the very beginning of Bereshit from Genesis. And our Torah journey begins with the simple creation of, amongst other things, of human beings, the beginning of human existence. And who would have thought, who would have known that that journey will take us through 5 books, into Devarim, into Deuteronomy, and the idea of how we work for justice, how we are commanded to love the stranger in our midst, to fight for others who have challenges in life and who are marginalized in life. So knowing the improbability of that journey, who knows where this year's Torah journey will take us? So for me, I've been kind of wondering how I got here today. What made you think of having me up here today for your bar mitzvah? And I can't point to any specific incident or anything I might have said that would have led you to say, yeah, I think I would like my old rabbi to come up here, both figuratively and literally, old rabbi. However, whatever I did or didn't do back then, it does make me keenly aware of what I might do going forward, how I might act, has an impact well beyond anything I could ever imagine. That you never know in any moments that seem not that significant or monumental, what others remember of the experience. That our journeys looking back always seem improbable, and dare I say it, miraculous. I always see God most readily in the rearview mirror, looking back on this improbable journey of my own life and wondering, who knew would have landed me in Madison, Wisconsin on this Shabbos morning? But of really greater importance on this day is what it says about you. And I can't fully express how meaningful it is for me to be here on the Bima with you today. By what you have done in reaching this day, you not only got me here, but you've brought family, friends, and your synagogue community together. And as you went through the process of preparing for your bar mitzvah, I'm guessing that you probably hadn't fully considered the impact you may have, but I do think you have performed a bit of a miracle here today. And getting kind of into the future for a second, what I'll say is, who knows what you undertake in your life going forward that will have an impact well beyond what you or anyone could anticipate today. Who knows what will be the next miracle you create in your life. But here's what I do know, and what I believe is with a great sense of confidence that you will accomplish much in your life, that you will continue to impact others in a meaningful and positive way, and there will be many more miracles to come for you. Kain Yehi Ratzon, may that be God's will. And I'll take a little hug.
We would now like to invite you, Aiden, to join Rabbi Alpert and me here at the Ark to offer you a few private words.
While they're sharing those private words, I'll offer this meditation with gratitude for the opportunity today to pass Torah down to a young person in our community, to receive Torah, wisdom from that person, in a giving and receiving and a turning that gives us all manner of wisdom. Much wisdom can we learn from our teachers, more can we learn from our friends, from our students, we can learn the most of all. Harbe lamadati merabotai, umitamitai yoter me, umichaverai yoter merabotai, umitalmidai, yoter mikulan, yoter mikulan. Turn it and turn it and turn it, turn it and turn it around. Everything is in it, everything is in it. Turn it and turn it around, turn it around. Much wisdom can we learn from our teachers, or can we learn from our friends, from our students, we can learn the most of all. Harbe lamadati merabotai, umitamidai yoter merabotai, umitamidai, yoter mikulan, yoter mikulan. and turn it and turn it. Turn it and turn it around. Everything is in it. Everything is in it. Turn it and turn it and turn it around.
Aiden, Cantor Nami, Rabbi Alpert, and I, your clay kodesh today, your vessels, we hope that bring you holiness, would like to offer you the priestly benediction of our people as now we continue your experience here, but really we offer you to our community today.
Yivarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God always bless you and watch after you.
Ya'er Adonai panav eilecha v'chuneka.
God's countenance, God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav eilecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God's light always shine in your direction so that you receive in your heart and in your home God's greatest gift, which is the gift of peace. And we all say,
Amen.
Now we'd like to invite the community to turn to page 374 in the prayer book. We continue our service. We return the Sefer Torah to the Ark, and we invite the community to rise. Page 374.
Hallelujah, Shem Adonai, ki niskav shemo levado, hodo al eretz v'shamayim, hayarem keren le'amro, tehila lechol chasidav, livenei Israel am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Please read with me on page 375. When Torah
entered the world, freedom entered it. The whole Torah exists only to establish peace. Its highest teaching is love and kindness. What is hateful to you, do not do to any person. That is the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. Go and learn it. Those who study Torah are the true guardians of civilization, honoring one another, doing acts of kindness, and making peace. These are our highest duties. But the study of Torah is equal to them all because it leads to them all. Let us learn in order to teach. Let us learn in order to do.
Eitz Chaim hi lama chazikim ba v'tomecheha meushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha Shalom, Hashivenu Adonai, Elecha v'nashuva, Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu, Chadesh Yameinu,
We continue now on page 586 with Aleinu. Page 586.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
The congregation may be seated.
And we will be continuing on page 589.
Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor adultery blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever.
Page 591. ונאמר, והיה אדוני כמלך על כל הארץ, היום ההוא, היום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
Zecher Tzadik Livracha, may the memory of the righteous always be a blessing. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every nation and race whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we consider for a few moments the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. I'd like to invite the community to turn to page 592. The poet has written, "When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away." At the sacred moment, we call to mind those who died in the last 30 days, those who are connected to our worship community, those whose Yartzeiten occur at this time, the anniversary of their passing, and anyone else, members of Aiden's family whom will be remembering as well, and anyone else who comes to our mind because their love continues to inspire us even though they are no longer here. If you are present today in mourning or observing a Yartzeit, we invite you to rise as the name of your loved one is recited, and then you'll be joined by the whole community as together we recite the mourner's Kaddish. These are those whom we take into our hearts with our community's recent loss. We remember Alexandra Corbin, sister-in-law of Stuart Monshine and Ruth Frawley. We also recall these Yartzeiten, the anniversaries of their passings. Jay Blum, Robert Ehrlich, Maurice Epstein, Sharon Wagner Eyman, Catherine Frank, Elsie Glass Rubenstein, Louis Grossberg, Gary Gustafson, Samuel B. Halperin, Violet Hussman, Richard Coons, Charlotte Langson, Clara Lorman, Susan Mansfield, Menachem Mansour, Ben Minkoff, Leo Nessel, Rika de Levy-Netter, Dr. Myron Donald Olmanson, Julie Schutten-Pito, Benny Ranich, Annalise H. Schwartz, Judy Seligman, Robert E. Cinderbrand, M.D., Sandra Stein, Erwin Stone, Ray Weisenfeld, Isidore Wurtzel, Lucille Youngerman-Levy, and Benjamin Zimmerman. Aiden, I know that your family is remembering loved ones today as well, and we recall Doris and Willie Majet, Ray Zeenberg, Aviva Solomon, and Ella Hebgen. There may be other members of this worship community today who might be in mourning, or you are remembering someone dear, and if you have someone in your heart whose name you'd like to offer to us this afternoon, we invite you to do so. Others whom we are remembering today? Zichronam livracha, may their memories be blessings in our hearts and the hearts and minds of all those who knew and loved them. Testifying to the faith that binds the generations of our people together, we now invite the community to turn to page 598, and as one community we rise, offering these words of the mourner's Kaddish, thanking God for lives that we shared and thanking God for those who put their arms about us when we miss those loved ones. Please join me. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha b'richu le'ela min kol bir chata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imeru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru. Amen. May God send peace to all who mourn and comfort those who are bereaved and remember on this day. And we say amen. Please be seated. In a few moments, friends, our service will conclude, and when it does, we invite you to stay where you are for a little bit while we have Kiddush and Motzi at the conclusion of our service. And I think we're all invited next door. Is that right? So there's things coming. First of all, we would love to congratulate Aiden once again for his becoming bar mitzvah. Your choosing to share your day with us. Thank you so much. It means a lot to us. Following services, there will be an event next door, a little Kiddush luncheon next door, so please join us for that. Just have to exit these doors and go down the hallway, and it's right behind the doors behind you. Use the hallway, please. Let's see. Thank you to Karen and Ian Horler for being our greeters and ushers today. We appreciate that very much. Thanks to Summer Koff. Thank you all for being our tech person today, as well as handling many aspects of the building. We appreciate that. If you test positive for COVID-19 within 5 days of being here at Temple Beth El, we ask that you let us know. Please give us a call or email our executive director. Her address is on our website, and to let us know, because we need to know that. If there are people who would like to be informed if someone tested positive, please leave your name on the contact tracing sheet on the round table in the foyer, and so that we know that you want to be informed, and we will reach out to you to let you know. Vaccinations and appropriate up-to-date boosters are strongly recommended for everyone age 6 months and up, that is, those who are eligible. And also, we do encourage people, and we respect people who wear masks in our building for worship events and meetings, especially when people tend to get a little close. Events coming up in our community. This coming Friday evening, worship will be at 7:30 p.m. here in our sanctuary. The next day at 9 o'clock, there'll be Torah study. And next Saturday morning, we will welcome to our Bima Sam Spector, the son of Scott and Christina Spector, who will have his bar mitzvah at that time. For any information and anything else about things happening at Bethel, please go to our website, tbemadison.org. For those people where it's appropriate, we do encourage people to vote. So come November 8th, which is Election Day, please be sure for those people who are registered and eligible that you vote. We can't tell you, and we wouldn't tell you whom to vote for, but we do know that when more people go to the polls, it is so much more representative of the will of our people. So again, Tuesday, November 8th, go to vote, please. And if you're in our neighborhood, you can stop by our temple. You have to make arrangements for this a week or so beforehand, but we have Foodorama on that day. So please make arrangements, and you can order corned beef sandwiches and coleslaw and potato salad and challah and babka and, pardon me? Chopped liver. Thank you. The chopped liver goes fast. And sweet and sour borscht soup and chicken matzo ball soup. Those are frozen. You can take them home, heat them up. They're great. So again, on our website are all the details about that. So please, if you're in the neighborhood, and by October 31st, I think is the reservations deadline. You have to make reservations for lunch that day. Next year, we'll get back, hopefully, to have our big social hall open as a cafeteria kind of place. We're not there quite yet. We'll get there. I do want to offer the invitation now for Seth Yampolsky and Agash Jayan to please come forward, and they're going to be passing out candy to everybody. Now, this is not to eat yet. You can eat it later. Let us tell you what this candy is about. There's a wonderful custom for our B'nai Mitzvah, and Aiden is here with us today as our bar mitzvah today, of course, that at the end of the service, we will be showering him with sweetness. So when you get up, you can start passing out the candy. Give each person a piece. At the end of the service, you'll see me offer a very unsubtle cue that's like this, which means you can shower Aiden with sweetness. I understand there are people who are on, just shower him. It's all sort of underhand showering with sweetness. Aiden will be at a place where he's a good focus for you. It's just a wonderful, sweet custom. And then when all the candy has been showered upon Aiden, it is then the job of young people, that's a self-definition, it's the job of young people to come forward and scoop up all the candy and then redistribute it among all the other people here. Make sure you get at least one to have a taste of the sweetness of this day. I heard baseball talk before, and in the interest of that, if you are into baseball a little bit, please don't throw overhand. Throw underhand. You want it? Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And so, friends, as we're going to be drawing close to the end here, we'll be offering a closing song on page 643. Something else that our B'nai Mitzvah students will sometimes do is help me pick one or two of the melodies that we offer in this service. And so we'll be concluding with Gesher Tsar Me'od. The whole world is a very narrow bridge, and the most important thing is not to give in to our fears. Ha'olam kulo Gesher Tsar Me'od, Gesher Tsar Me'od, Gesher Tsar Me'od, Ha'olam kulo Gesher Tsar Me'od,
We want to invite the congregation now to turn to page 604 in the prayer book as we continue with Vishamru and the Kiddush, and followed by Motzi. We invite everyone to rise. Again, page 604.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. על כן ברך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו ספרי.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
L'chaim. And on page 606 is the text for the Motzi, if you would like that. Page 606 at the top.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz
B'tei avon.
Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu, 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 Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu,
Now people can come and collect it up.
Ulecho Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.